Spoke to that author on CNN's American Morning. John joins us live from New York. A subject matter, John, that we can all relate to.
Yeah, and one that you and I discuss all the time, and that is that there are so many great things that the internet does and has to offer. But at the same time, Kyra, as you know, there is this dark side where anyone's enemy can take something nasty and post it on the internet, and maybe it doesn't rise to the level as it did with Shirley Sherrod, but it still gets out there among a certain community and does damage to that person's reputation. Imagine what would have happened if we hadn't taken a look at what happened with Shirley Sherrod and plumbed the depths further and found out that what had been posted on the internet was not, in fact, reflective of what she said. Would she still be without a job? Would her reputation still be ruined? That to some degree, is the effect of what many people might consider to be a wild west of the internet, where anybody can post anything they want about anyone. Andrew Keen is the author of The Cult of the Amateur: How Blogs, MySpace, YouTube, and other user-generated media are killing the American economy, the culture, and our values. Here's what he says about this idea that people can post whatever they want about anyone, and many times, probably more times than not, get away with it.
What I think it reflects is a certain sort of paranoia about media, an obsession with conspiracy, a kind of a lunacy that reflects us, an extremism, a bitterness, but also a degree of responsibility. I think this case is interesting because it shows the worst of the internet, in the sense that someone printed a lie or published a lie, which then was virally spread and almost ruined her life. But then part of the internet, and also mainstream media guys like you, came to the rescue. And you sorted the case out. You showed that it was a lie. You revealed the fact, the reality, the truth, which was actually the very opposite of what was published.
But, John, we can't always do that. I mean, there's going to have to be a point in time where these people have to be held accountable. How about all these bloggers that blog anonymously? They say rotten things about people, and they're actually given credibility, which is crazy. They're a bunch of cowards. They're just people seeking attention. So what does this guy propose that we can do about it?
Well, what Andrew talked about with me was this idea of a gatekeeper, but there are huge First Amendment rights that come into play here, freedom of speech and all of that. And he said that the people who need to be the gatekeepers are the media to check into these stories. But for every Shirley Sherrod story that there is, there's probably 100,000 other ones that never rise to the level of attention that we would look into them. So I don't know what you do about all of those people, and we see them, people who are bullied on the internet, who commit suicide, others whose reputations have been ruined. Andrew was also pointing to companies that try to ruin other companies by posting false information on their websites. To this idea of anonymous blogging, we chatted about that a little bit off camera, and to some degree that the internet is like a giant worldwide bathroom wall that you can write anything you want about anyone under an anonymous pseudonym. Now, somebody's going to have that information, but you know, I've always thought that if you're going to say something, if you're going to criticize someone in a public forum, have the courage to, at the very least, put your name on it. I mean, the better thing would be, if you've got a criticism for someone, say it to their face.
Right.
But at the very least, have the, whatever you want to call them, to put your name to it.
Sure, I think that's what we all want, because it's very unfair. And, you know, we talk about writing on a bathroom wall, but come on, you can go, you can spray paint over that's one wall for the world, you know, the whole world's not going to see that. I mean, we're talking about, it's not just freedom of First Amendment, and I know that's what they all claim, it's freedom of defamation many times. And what does Andrew say about, is there going to come a point where something's going to have to be done legally? There's got to be some point where there's some accountability. And companies, especially within the media, have to stop giving these anonymous bloggers credit. Or credibility, I guess that's a better word.
As you know, the ubiquitous nature of the internet and the way that it gathers together factions and divides others, you're going to have allies of certain people who comment or blog anonymously. Now, it's not to say that anonymous blogging doesn't have its place. I mean, if you're in a place like Iran or North Korea or something like that, anonymous blogging is the only way you could ever get your point of view out without being searched down and thrown in jail or worse. But when it comes to a society like ours, an open society, you know, do there have to be some checks and balances, not national, but maybe website to website on who comments on things? But we didn't really have time to get into what you do about those people, but it's a matter of, you know, you really have to be aware. You have to be aware of what you post on the internet, which is why I always caution young people, never post a naked photograph of yourself on the internet. But as for the rest of it, these are very thorny issues that we're going to have to deal with. Now, surely Sherrod may take this in a new direction if she actually does pursue a defamation suit, as she said she might, against Andrew Breitbart.
Yeah,
I mean, she has the power now, and she also has the profile to maybe bring this into a new light. So we'll see where this goes.
Well, and a lot of people will jump on board, that's for sure. It's a subject we could talk about for a long time. Thanks, John.